Nothing feels worse than being used by someone, especially when your intentions are pure. It leaves you feeling angry, distraught, and resentful. And if you're not careful, that interaction will turn you into the very type of person who hurt you, selfish and inconsiderate. Hi, I'm Eleanor, your friendly neighborhood life coach, and today I want to talk about how you can prevent being used by other people. I've been okey-doked a few times in my life by people who I thought were my friends and respected me. But when the opportunity presented itself, they took advantage of my kindness for personal gain. The first time it happened, I was distraught and in disbelief. The second time it happened, I was more disappointed than anything. And then the third time, I started to wonder, is it me? When you find yourself being taken advantage of, it's easy to see yourself as the victim and say, why me?
Why the long face, Tiger? Tell me the real reason. I want to hear you say it. Say it! I want them to love me. Yahtzee!
But instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance, I want you to feel empowered and ask yourself the same question with a completely different mindset. Instead of, why me? Ask yourself, why me? What is it about how I interacted with that person that made it possible for them to take advantage of me? Was there something I missed? I'm not saying blame yourself, because at the end of the day, we all have choices. And if someone does something to harm you, well, only they are to blame for their actions. I'm saying get inquisitive and take accountability. We have to know what we missed so we don't unwittingly befall the same fate.
Complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
Taking time to get to the root of the issue will save you a lot of pain in the future. And you can get to the root by using my second point. Identify patterns. People are creatures of habit. They have patterns, and sometimes we become blind to a person's patterns because we project our own experience and morals onto them. We might make excuses for their behavior because we assume best intentions. Sometimes we even give benefit of the doubt when we should be taking note. And sometimes the pattern that needs to be broken is our own. Here are some questions we can ask ourselves to identify patterns in others and in ourselves that we may have missed before. Did I turn a blind eye to their behavior because it was convenient or it didn't affect me?
That is Sergeant Tony Fisher.
For example, did you see that person treat a waiter rudely, but maybe you just brushed it off? Or were they constantly late to meetings and always ill-prepared, but you ignored it because their personality was just so magnetic? Are they similar to someone you used to date, or a family member or a friend you used to hang out with? So you just naturally gravitated towards them because of your own old habits? Chances are there were a couple of red or at least yellow flags that you missed. Does that mean you should blame yourself? No, it doesn't excuse their behavior, but we must also hold ourselves accountable and pay attention so we don't continue to find ourselves being used. Even if someone loves you and cares for you, that doesn't mean they won't use you. This may sound bleak, but it's the honest truth. If you put your future in the hands of anyone else, you will lose every single time. Because it's human nature for people to put themselves first. It's survival. Looking out for yourself doesn't mean you have to be selfish or hurt other people in the process. You can put yourself first without harming others. It's a choice, but some people would rather be selfish and they don't care who they hurt as long as they get theirs. So instead of waiting for others to see your value and treat you the way you deserve to be treated, use my next tip. Develop discernment. So we know everyone doesn't have the same morals, right? And we know that people have to look out for themselves first. So that means that some people are going to take advantage of others. The only way we can decipher who is worthy of your kindness and your good nature is to use the power of discernment. But what does that mean? It means that instead of getting a hardened heart and closing yourself off to everyone so that you never risk being hurt, you still keep yourself open for love, but you set boundaries. God says everyone deserves love. He does not say everyone deserves access.
No touching.
No, I'm sorry. Last time I checked, I thought we lived in a free country, so.
No, we don't.
No?
It's the United States of don't touch that thing right in front of you.
People need to prove they are worthy of your good nature. So stop oversharing. Stop immediately giving your time, energy, advice, and goodwill to every person you meet. Be friendly with people, kiki, joke around, but take time to discern who gets access to the various levels of you. And how do you decide that? By watching people's patterns and looking for consistency. Are they a person of their word? Do they show up and follow through on their promises, or are they flaky? Do they talk about other people behind their backs? Are they frivolous and materialistic? These are just a few red flags that you should look for. And once you notice this person's nature, you need to implement my last tip. Believe what you see. A user is not gonna flat out tell you that they are a user. They will do things that show you it's in their nature. They will talk about a friend behind their back and then go to a concert with that same friend because it was free. They will ask you for advice, let you spin your wheels trying to help them, and then not apply any of it. They will give you nothing but compliments and just take from you, take, but not invest in helping you grow or being honest with you. People don't go around introducing themselves like, hey, I'm Nicole the narcissist. I like to take from my friends, and I think I'm better than people, and I like to manipulate them into believing that my version of reality is the only truth. And sometimes people do tell you exactly who they are. They may say things like, oh, I'm not good enough to be your friend or partner. You're too good for me. And when they say things like that, your kind heart is gonna wanna say, no, that's not true, and try to convince them of their worth. Don't do this, believe them. This is a tactic to feed the person's ego. Ego isn't just about arrogance. Ego can also manifest itself as poor self-confidence when really all the person wants is for you to stroke their ego. They don't actually want to progress, and that's not everyone. If you have a friend who is actually good to you and pours into you and needs help with their confidence, well, that's a completely different story than someone who only takes and doesn't treat your relationship with the same respect you do. And that doesn't even mean they're a bad person. I've found that a lot of times people are ego tripping and have no idea. They're too self-absorbed to even notice their behavior is hurtful, which is why you have to take the power into your own hands and use discernment with everyone, family included. You know, when I was younger, I used to wonder why so many older people seem jaded and mean. Now that I've experienced more life, I understand why. You start out with this idea of what life should be and how people should behave. Then you get taken advantage of and you get your heart broken, and people lie and they steal and they cheat on you. It would be difficult not to turn into a jaded person. What's kept me from letting other people's negative energy darken my heart is the fact that I refuse to let anyone or anything have power over me. So in your darkest moments, when you've been hurt, when your heart is broken and you aren't sure you'll ever heal, remember this: God sees you. He knows what you've been through, and He is the great redeemer. The devil doesn't play fair, but God does. Don't let that experience poison your heart. Keep going. I'm here to tell you that good people do win. We just need to keep our eyes open, learn our lessons, and use discernment. And even if you do all of these things right, you still might get hurt again. Unfortunately, that's a part of life. In order to love, you have to open yourself up to the chance that you might get hurt. But what's your other option, right? Close your heart off to everyone and never experience life? You'd rob the world of your life and hurt yourself. The value of life is not just in the wins. It's in the losses too. What is the sun without the moon? The hills without the valleys? You can't appreciate the great times if you only have great times. It's like eating cake all day, every day. Eventually, you'll get sick. So take these negative experiences in stride and know that they are priming you to appreciate the greatness that will eventually come your way. I hope you found this video helpful. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and bring a friend by. Remember, you are not alone. God is there with you, and life is a journey. You are right where you're supposed to be, and this is not your final destination. Get back on that train and keep going. Until next time, be well.